Hey everyone, my name is Penny Zanker, and it's time to reset. This podcast goes beyond just navigating change. It's about new ways of thinking about how you can approach challenges, how you can shift your mindset when needed, create some space and grace for yourself so that you can rethink, recharge, and reprioritize when and where needed. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Thank you for hitting play and sharing this next episode with me. It's time to reset. Hello, and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zanker, and I'm your host. And on this show and in this series, we're focused on the reset mindset. My new book is coming out in September. And so the series is highlighting companies, organizations, governments, how are people going into the future? What needs to happen to be more dynamic, more agile as we move into the future and as we see the rate of change and the level of uncertainty that people are experiencing and really challenged with. So that's why we're having all discussions of reset mindset, how you can build one reset moment at a time. And I am excited to have Lisa Madron with me today, and she is going to help us with this discussion. She has more than 30 years of experience in social work, counseling, and administration, and she's worked in private and public nonprofit agencies. Currently, she's on a temporary assignment as the Chief Transformational Officer, and that's what really caught my attention, everyone, to talk about that, for Prince William County. She's served as an executive director for the community services since 2018. And also in other roles of the community service for the past 23 years. So without further ado, Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Penny. It's a pleasure to be here.
So I'm excited because I have not seen this title, Chief Transformational Officer. So that's what piqued my curiosity to say, hey, let's get on and talk about that, because we are in the need of transformation and not just incremental changes as we've been doing over the years, but it's not enough. We see that people are also struggling, whether it's leaders or employees, and behaviors are changing. And so it's a time where we need to do a paradigm shift and transform. How did this position, this title come about? I'm just curious.
Well, and exactly what you said is what we've been experiencing in Prince William County, and our community executive, Christopher Shorter, was the one that really had the future foresight for this department and really seeing the need to focus and position Prince William to deal with all of the changes that are happening. We're the second in Northern Virginia, and in Virginia, we have the second highest population. So we are very much a growing county, and we need to be able to be more customer focused and really transform the way we're doing business, particularly how we're serving our customers, whether internally or externally.
So let me say, sometimes I challenge people, so don't be shocked, so you're a government organization, right? And so that's what shocked me too, is that, isn't the government, I don't mean this in any disrespect, but a big ship takes a long time to turn, right? And so, that is also what shocked me, is that this is a government organization, really committing to look and to transform and to be open and to change and willing to reinvent, which is the whole idea of the reset mindset. So what's your take on that? Because that's unusual, don't you think?
It's extremely unusual. I've been, as you mentioned, with the county for a very long time, and we've had certain spurts of that over the years, but really walking the talk and really putting resources behind that. And that's really what Mr. Shorter and his cabinet is doing. And it is to really look at all of the uncertainty, all of the things that are happening in our environment, and how do we support our employees and our staff and really shore them up, because really your mindset is the only thing that you actually have control over in the environment. So really wanting to support.
So does that mean that that's the work that you're doing is around mindset? Is really helping people to accept and navigate the change and uncertainty in new ways? Is that what I'm understanding? So
that is definitely a component. It's multi-focused because we are working across departments collaboratively and making connections and helping and assisting with projects and process improvements. And so definitely looking at the work and what can we do better? What can we do, really thinking outside of the box and having a new perspective on things, and really committing to that leadership philosophy of supporting our employees to really reach their potential. Because we know if we do that, then the community will be better supported. So it's changing the culture. It's committing to how we do business and even innovation. You probably are very familiar, but in the corporate sector, when you talk innovation and creativity, which is one of our values in Prince William County, there's lots of support around striving and not necessarily getting it right the first time and growing. And that hasn't always been the way in local governments. And that is a huge change that we're really trying to support because it makes a difference. And it really not only produces a better outcome or product, but I think helps with some of that burnout or overwhelm that a lot of our employees have experienced over the years.
So I call these in my book, I talk about reset moments, which are sort of the trigger points, right, of recognizing that. Let me give some examples. So it might be how you plan your day. A reset moment might be to step back and look at what are the priorities for the day. And then you might have reset moments throughout the day where you have to dynamically reprioritize because something urgent has come in or, right, and how we support that. And then what happens in that reset moment is a reset practice where we step back, we get perspective, and we realign. And that can happen with lots of different tools and tactics. So I'd love to talk a little bit about, maybe some practical tactics. Like, what are some of the things that you're doing that aid in that area? Pick one, whether it's innovation or whether it's process improvement, whatever, but maybe one to understand what are some of the tactics that are being thought about or implemented or workshops that you're doing or things like that help us to understand how you're going about doing it.
Well, we are definitely all about change, and that's a huge focus, and really how, because we know it's not always comfortable to change, and we've been through a lot of changes, and some people have experienced change saturation. So really working with folks on what does that mean, getting curious, asking a lot of questions to begin to look at some change differently, to be able to look at how they're viewing their current situation. We had a situation the other day where we were working with a team and they have a really big project that they're involved with. And over the years, they have presented their case for additional staffing, but have not gotten it. And true to Prince William form, they have tried to make it work. They've addressed the need the best they can, but there's been a lot of taxing of employees for that. So when we were talking about the initiative that they're working on, I think there was disbelief that could change. And so really questioning that really led us to see where they were coming from so that we could offer ways to see it differently and ways to not get stuck in that belief system that was holding them back.
So just so that I understand, so does that mean that you're reframing the way that they're looking at having less resources, or you're opening up a way for them to get more resources, just so that I understand? Because this is, it's not just government, right? This is the same problem that corporations, and it's happening everywhere. Staffing is tight. People are being asked to do more with less. And the stuck and stopping point is that they feel like they can't do it. It's stressing them out. And so the question is, because there's both sides to it, will they get more resources and you're sharing a way of how they can get them, or is it you're helping them to see how they can do more with less and not have the stress associated with it?
And not so much that one. That one is definitely something that over the years we have done. But this is a real opportunity, and the work that they've been doing and how we would be helping them, where they have a chance to actually get the help they need.
Okay.
And I don't think they believe it, because that has not been their experience. So
Gotcha.
it's really working with that perspective that nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same.
Right. I just did a podcast with Stephen M.R. Covey, and he was talking about something that his father told him. And I hope I'm getting this right, that you can't talk your way out of something you've behaved your way in, is what he told me that he learned from his father. So that's why they don't believe, is that you can say it, but until they actually see the action behind it, then it's hard to believe, right? So, and I think that's important for leaders who are shifting paradigms. And is that, if they're going to stand behind, like you guys are, transformation, and this is how things are going to change and how we're going to approach change, then the action has to come with the words. Otherwise, it actually could do more damage than it could do positively, right?
Exactly. Yes.
But to your point is, I think it's also for people who are listening, important to understand that the reset mindset could be that organizations are figuring out how to get more resources, doing less projects and getting more resources to the projects that exist, right? Choosing what really matters. But I think there's also a way, which we saw with the pandemic, there's an extreme amount of creativity that can happen when we have a constraint that says that this is all you have, this is what you have to work within. And as soon as we get past the complaining part, people come up with incredible ideas. So the question is how do we let go of this isn't fair and it's impossible and all those belief systems that come up? How do we let those go to say, hey, this could be an opportunity to really look at things differently? And then how do we step back away from this emotionally, look at it objectively? What if I came in as a newcomer from another industry and I was looking at this? How would I do this if I didn't know the way that we do it today?
Right. And that is definitely a key piece in terms of being open and creating that openness to look at it a different way and to highlight just what you've said, because innovations have been happening, but people don't often talk about them. And so one of the things we've done through the Transformation Management Office established what we're calling our RISE programs, which stands for Recognizing Innovation and Service Excellence. And it's really about highlighting and spotlighting what are projects that have been going on, just getting started. They may need some assistance. And it's really brought a variety of projects and ideas, and even the idea of piloting some things. We may not have the staff, but if we could pilot it and really look at, are we making a difference? Are we making an outcome? Are we going beyond the project and really impacting our community? And those are the kinds of things that, to your point, you may not have funding for everything, but to really be able to look at what are some things that we must actually do.
Well, I love the idea, like when you say piloting something. It makes me think of, agile ways of working are much more prevalent in software development, right? And I used to be in software development, so that's also a little bit where my mindset is. And they would do prototyping, right? Where they would mock up a quick version of something so that they could test the features and get feedback as soon as possible before they went into, and today with Scrum, they call them sprints, like these short.
Yes.
And so that sounds like what you're implementing there so that you can be more agile. And of course you can ask for more money when you show the impact that it's making as well, right? That's going to be more effective in getting resources by showing the impact that it's having. So I love that.
Absolutely. And very much what you're describing. In fact, we use various tools, and Scrum is one of them. Our design and our way of working has a combination of the Lean Six Sigma, DAPM, which is known in sort of the human service realm, and human-centered design. And really, to that point, oftentimes projects are done linearly and not necessarily getting that input, doing the prototypes to say, are we really hitting the mark that we wanted to target in the first place with what we're doing, and taking that feedback and really making the changes to meet the needs of the customer.
That's fantastic. And that's sort of the idea that I'm just giving some language that may not have been there when I talk about these reset moments. It's kind of like those feedback points, right? Is that, you have the prototype or the piloting, and it's each of those feedback points that becomes a feedback loop, right? From reset moment to reset moment to reset moment, it becomes a feedback loop where you're integrating and this feedback and being able to dynamically reassess and pivot. So that's exactly, what I'm trying to encourage people to do, whether it's through this type of, Scrum or prototyping or piloting, or right. There's lots of different ways to implement that. So that's really cool. So let me shift gears for a second. And because I know you haven't read the book yet, right?
Can't wait to.
Coming up, and we're gonna do something together. But not knowing what it is, but just in the little bit that we've talked about it and whatnot, what does a reset mindset mean to you, and why do you think it's important?
Well, I was excited when I heard that was your book, coming out, because to me, it's really a renewing your mind. It's leading from your best self. And with all of the distractions and all of the overwhelm sometimes, and definitely emotions, it's so easy to get away from the mindset, from the intention that how you want to show up and how you want to be and what you've focused on. And it's a way to kind of remind yourself, not beat yourself up about it at all, but get back on track.
Yeah. And that's a great definition. I like asking other people because everybody frames it, the words they use are different. We're more or less it's the same, but I think that it's important to hear it in different languages, right? And the idea of the dynamic reassessment is exactly that, is to get back on track and stay connected to why you're doing something, what you're doing, and really stay aligned with your values, your goals, and your intentions. So beautifully said. So I'd love to continue to ask you questions and things like that, but we're coming also to the end of people's attention span. So what didn't I ask you yet that you think is important to share with the audience around what's going on for you in Prince William County?
I think you did. I think it's just a really exciting time. And I really appreciate your sort of recognizing that Prince William is kind of standing out there and in the forefront of really seeing the need and the value from a future potential level, from a business level. And that's one of the things that really makes me proud to work for Prince William, is that I do think they walk the talk. We walk the talk, and I'm proud to be a part of the county.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing, this journey with us. And I hope that other government institutions and other corporations, right, can be put their money where their mouth is in the context of understanding that the world is changing quickly, right? There's a rapid pace that we're experiencing this change, and that it's not a should anymore to adopt these types of frames of mind and ways of approaching change more dynamically. It's really a must. And so hopefully the more of organizations like yours that are talking about it will help others to see how it can work for them as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And how can people find out more information about you or what's going on in Prince William County?
Our TMO, we have a website, tmo@pwc.gov, and we have a landing page about how to get in contact with us and some of the exciting things that we're doing.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you all for being here. My goal with this series is to bring people from different types of organizations around the world and to hear what they're doing to inspire you to understand how you too can be more dynamic in the way that you approach your day-to-day. Or, it doesn't have to be at a large magnitude of a scale. It can be a huge paradigm shift, but it can also just be a paradigm shift in your thinking and how you approach your day-to-day, right? It can be the big, or it can also be down to the small of everything. Because as I say in my book and I talk about, is that we build one reset moment at a time. So that's it for today. I encourage you, as the book is now in pre-order, please go to theresetmindset.net. You can pre-order it. And there's a whole bunch of really fantastic bonuses that I'm offering for anybody who pre-orders. And you can put the registration, your order number in, and you will then get access to all of these benefits. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Penny Zenker, and this is Take Back Time, focused on the reset mindset. We'll see you in the next episode. Hey, thank you for spending this time with me. It really means a lot. If you're feeling a little off, distracted, overwhelmed, stuck, or just out of sync, remember that's your signal to reset. And that's all it takes, just recognizing one reset moment at a time. So stay tuned for more tips, tools, tricks, stories, strategies, all here on Time to Reset. We'll see you in the next episode.